You don't wake up one day with back pain. That's the lie most people believe. What actually happens is far more dangerous and far more silent. Your spine is changing every day, every posture, every habit. And by the time you finally feel pain, your body has already adapted to something it was never designed to tolerate. Most people think pain is the warning. It's not. Pain is the final message sent long after the damage is done. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll understand why your spine adapts without asking permission, why good posture alone doesn't save you, and why the body always pays the price later, not now. If you've ever sat, slept, or scrolled for hours, this video is for you. Before we go any further, watch this video all the way through. What you're about to learn only makes sense when you see the full chain. Skipping ahead is exactly how most people miss the warning signs their body is already sending. Here's the biggest misunderstanding about the human spine. People think it's a rigid structure like a pillar. It's not. Your spine is a living, adaptive system. Bones remodel, discs compress, ligaments lengthen, muscles quietly reprogram their tension, and your nervous system rewrites the rules in real time. Your body doesn't care whether a posture is good or bad. It only asks one question: is this position repeated often enough that I need to adapt? That's it. If you sit slightly flexed for hours every day, your spine doesn't complain. It adjusts. If you sleep twisted for years, your spine doesn't protest. It learns. If your head stays forward while you use your phone, your spine doesn't scream. It compensates. Adaptation feels like nothing. That's why it's dangerous. From an evolutionary standpoint, adaptation is survival. Your ancestors didn't have chiropractors. They had adaptation. If a movement or posture kept repeating, the body changed its structure to make that position cheaper to maintain. Less energy, less resistance, less pain at first. So when your spine adapts, it actually feels easier. You feel more relaxed, less strain, less awareness. That's not healing. That's accommodation. Your body is lowering the cost of a bad pattern. And here's the trap. The nervous system turns down pain signals while mechanical stress quietly increases. By the time pain finally returns, the structure has already changed. If this is starting to sound familiar, don't stop here. In the next part, you'll see exactly how this adaptation progresses and why fixing pain later is so much harder than preventing it early. Stay with me. Spinal adaptation follows a predictable path. At first, muscles work harder to stabilize poor alignment. You feel tight but functional. Then structure slowly adjusts. Discs compress unevenly. Ligaments stretch. Joint angles quietly change. You feel normal. Later, the nervous system dulls warning signals. You feel fine, maybe even better. And one day, something small happens. A sneeze, a bend, a twist. Suddenly, pain appears out of nowhere, but it didn't come from nowhere. It arrived years late. This is why most people fail to fix their spine. They chase symptoms. They stretch what feels tight. They strengthen what feels weak. But the real issue isn't pain. It's the direction of adaptation. Your spine has been learning a lesson for years. And in the next part, you'll see how everyday habits like sitting, sleeping, and standing teach your spine lessons you never intended. In the first part, you learned something most people never realize. Your spine doesn't wait for pain to decide what's wrong. It adapts quietly to whatever you repeat. Now let's make this concrete, because adaptation doesn't come from accidents. It comes from habits. 3 habits matter more than anything else in modern life: how you sit, how you sleep, and how you stand and move. None of these hurt at first. That's exactly why they work. Sitting is one of the most misunderstood postures today. Most people ask whether they are sitting correctly. That's the wrong question. Your spine doesn't care if a position looks correct for a few minutes. It cares about how long you stay there. When you sit for hours, small changes begin to happen. The pelvis subtly tilts backward. The natural curve of the lower spine flattens. Pressure inside the discs becomes uneven. Deep, stabilizing muscles slowly reduce their activity. Nothing snaps. Nothing screams. The spine simply learns that this position is normal. Over time, tissues adapt to make sitting easier to maintain. Ligaments gradually lengthen. Muscles stop contributing as much. Load shifts to places it was never meant to go. And here's the key problem. When you stand up, your spine doesn't instantly reset. It carries that adaptation with it. That's why many people feel stiff when standing, unstable when walking, and relieved only when they sit again. The body has learned the wrong baseline. Sleep is where spinal adaptation often accelerates, not because sleep is harmful, but because it is long and unconscious. You don't correct posture while sleeping, you don't feel discomfort clearly, and you often remain in one position for hours. That gives the spine uninterrupted time to adapt. If a sleeping position twists the spine, collapses one side, holds the neck rotated, or keeps the lower back flexed, the nervous system treats that alignment as important information. It's repeated every night, so the body reinforces it. Muscle tone redistributes, joint angles subtly shift, connective tissue remodels, and because you wake up without sharp pain, it's easy to assume nothing is happening. But sleep is not neutral. It teaches the spine what to expect. If this is changing how you think about sitting and sleeping, don't stop here. The next habit is the one most people completely ignore, and it ties everything together. Standing looks simple, but standing is not just the absence of sitting. It's a skill. Your spine is designed to stack the head over the rib cage over the pelvis, and the pelvis over the feet. When this stack is balanced, load distributes evenly. But after years of sitting and sleeping adaptations, standing often becomes a series of compensations. You might see locked knees, ribs pushed forward, excessive arching or flattening, and the head drifting forward. Again, there's usually no pain at first, because the nervous system prioritizes balance, not alignment. It will sacrifice joint health if that's what it takes to keep you upright. Movement follows the same logic. The body doesn't ask whether a movement is ideal. It asks whether that movement prevents you from falling right now. So it uses whatever patterns are available, even if they overload the spine. Over time, these compensations become habits, and habits slowly become structure. Here's the pattern most people miss. Sitting teaches your spine where to rest. Sleeping teaches your spine what to reinforce. Standing and moving reveal what the spine has learned. None of these habits are inherently bad. They only become a problem when they repeat without awareness. Your spine is always learning. The real question isn't whether you're doing damage. The real question is what lesson you're teaching your body every single day. In the final part, you'll see how adaptation can be redirected and why changing it requires a completely different mindset than most people expect. By now, one thing should be clear. Your spine didn't suddenly fail. It adapted. Adaptation isn't a mistake. It's simply the direction your body was trained to follow over time. So the goal isn't to fix your spine. The real goal is to change the signals your spine receives every single day. Most people struggle to reverse adaptation because they try to undo years of repetition with short bursts of effort. They stretch for a few minutes. They sit up straight for a while. They try to correct posture consciously, but the spine doesn't respond to intention. It responds to repetition and environment. What matters isn't what you do occasionally, it's what your body experiences most of the time. Your nervous system is constantly asking one question: what positions do I need to prepare for? It answers that question by paying attention to how long you stay in certain positions, how often you change them, and how much variety your body experiences throughout the day. When those signals change consistently, adaptation slowly changes with them. Spending long, uninterrupted time in one position sends a very strong signal. Breaking that time into shorter blocks sends a different one. Many people notice that simply changing positions more often, standing briefly, shifting, moving lightly, creates a completely different experience for the spine. Not because one position is perfect, but because variety reduces adaptation pressure. Resting positions matter even more than people realize. They're long, unconscious, and repeated night after night. When a position is held for hours during sleep, the body treats it as important information. Over time, small changes that reduce extreme angles or constant twisting can alter the signal the nervous system receives. You're not trying to control sleep perfectly. You're simply reducing strong, repeated inputs that the body might otherwise lock into. Standing and movement send another powerful signal. When you stand or move, the nervous system prioritizes balance above everything else. The more sensory information it receives, the less it relies on rigid compensation patterns. Subtle shifts in weight, small movements, and varied sensations help keep the nervous system engaged instead of locking the body into stiffness. This isn't about forcing alignment. It's about giving your body better information. Adaptation happened quietly over months and years. Reversal follows the same rules. The body doesn't rush to abandon patterns it believes are protective. Consistency matters more than intensity. Environment matters more than effort. When the signals change consistently, the structure follows. Pain isn't the real problem. Adaptation direction is. Your body is always preparing for the future it expects. So the question is no longer what exercise you should do. The real question becomes what signals you're sending your body every day. If this changed how you think about your spine, you'll want to stay here. Hidden Biology explains how the body adapts quietly, gradually, and predictably long before symptoms appear. Subscribe to understand what your body is learning before it has to warn you.